On the western edge of Hanoi, past the chaos of the Old Quarter and the calm of Westlake, a new chapter of Vietnam's memory rises from concrete and glass. This is the newly opened Vietnam Military History Museum, located on Thăng Long Boulevard in the Nam Tu Liem district. It officially opened its doors in November 2024, carrying forward the legacy of the original museum established in 1956. But this new space is not just a collection of tanks and timelines, it's a national story, centuries long, blood-soaked and unbroken. Vietnam's military legacy didn't begin in the 20th century. It dates back over 1,000 years to the resistance against Chinese dynasties, Mongol invasions, and countless other empires. But its modern fight for freedom began under French colonial rule in the late 1800s, when Vietnam was absorbed into French Indochina. By 1946, that resistance exploded into the First Indochina War, led by Ho Chí Minh and Viet Minh. Vietnamese fighters waged guerrilla warfare against French forces across jungles and mountain valleys. It all came to a head in 1954 during the Battle of Dien Bien Phu, a catastrophic defeat for France and the final nail in the colonial rule. But independence came with a fracture. Vietnam was divided at the 17th parallel, a communist north under Ho Chí Minh and a US-backed south under President Ngo Dinh. It was a Cold War power keg, and it didn't take long to ignite. The United States initially entered as an advisor under President John F. Kennedy. Troop numbers swelled quietly, but after his assassination, President Lyndon B. Johnson escalated things further. In 1964, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, a murky naval clash, gave Congress reason to authorize full-scale military intervention. Suddenly, Vietnam became America's war. By 1968, over 500,000 American soldiers were deployed. Yet for all their firepower, the US couldn't break Vietnam's resolve. The North and the Viet Cong fought with guerrilla tactics, local knowledge, and unwavering determination. The war dragged on, brutal and televised, both in Vietnam's forests and in America's living rooms. The Tet Offensive in 1968 shook America's confidence. Though technically a military failure for the North, it shattered the illusion that the US was winning. President Richard Nixon began pulling troops out under Vietnamization, shifting responsibility to South Vietnamese forces while expanding bombing campaigns into Laos and Cambodia. By the early 1970s, American public support had collapsed. In 1973, the US, North Vietnam, South Vietnam, and the Viet Cong signed the Paris Peace Accords, formally ending direct US involvement. But peace didn't last. Fighting resumed almost immediately between North and South forces. In early 1975, the North launched a massive final offensive. Province after province fell. On April 30th, 1975, North Vietnamese tanks rolled into Saigon. The South surrendered. After decades of war, Vietnam was finally reunified, but at a staggering cost. Over 3 million Vietnamese and 58,000 Americans dead, with countless others wounded, displaced, or missing. The Vietnam Military History Museum doesn't just showcase war machines. It tells the story through letters, diaries, hand-drawn maps, and worn boots of soldiers, Vietnamese and foreign. From resistance against French colonists to fighting against the Japanese in World War II, to the Vietnam War and conflicts beyond. Here, history isn't locked in the past, it's woven into the present. The museum's new facility honors not just the battlefield victories, but the psychological scars and sacrifices. It's a place to remember what was lost and to reflect on how far the country has come. So whether you're a student of history, a traveler seeking context, or simply curious, the Vietnam Military History Museum offers more than exhibits. It offers perspective, a reminder that freedom isn't free, and that sometimes the quietest buildings tell the loudest stories.